The world knew them as America's perfect couple. Kelly Ripa, the bubbly star who lit up our mornings, and Mark Consuelos, the handsome newcomer who captured hearts everywhere. For decades, they had been laughter in the living room, warmth in families, and a love story that inspired millions. But behind closed doors, Kelly faced a truth she could barely whisper. Mark was fighting the battle of his life against cancer. Their story began on the set of All My Children. She was the rising star, full of energy and charm. He was the newcomer, confident and magnetic. Sparks flew instantly. What was supposed to be scripted romance blossomed into real life: weddings, children, laughter, and careers growing side by side. To the world, they seemed untouchable, perfect, unshakable. But life has a way of testing even the brightest love stories. It started quietly, almost imperceptibly. Mark, always strong and athletic, began to feel unusually fatigued. Even after resting, unexplained pains lingered. At first he brushed it off. Life was busy, careers demanding, children growing. But bodies whisper before they scream, and Kelly noticed. The man who once bounced out of bed now lingered. The smile she adored sometimes faded into quiet discomfort. She urged him to see a doctor. Then came the tests, and then came the words that shattered everything: cancer. Kelly's tears flowed freely as she confirmed the truth she had prayed would never come. Her vibrant, strong husband, the man who had built a life with her, was now a patient. His future uncertain, his body at war, and her heart gripped with fear. Yet even in the darkest nights, Kelly stood firm. She became Mark's shield, his advocate, his anchor. Still, when the world wasn't watching, she whispered her fears into the darkness, wondering if she would lose the love of her life. The news spread quickly, and fans everywhere gasped. Social media overflowed with prayers, messages of hope, and stories of survival. People who had faced cancer themselves or had watched loved ones fight it reached out to Kelly. They wanted her to know she was not alone. But behind the public support, there were private nights of fear, nights when tears fell silently onto pillows, when whispered what-ifs echoed in the dark. The road ahead was grueling: hospital visits, scans, chemotherapy that drained Mark of the vitality he had always radiated, hair loss, nausea, exhaustion, reminders that the war inside him raged on. Through it all, Kelly refused to leave his side. She became his rock, his cheerleader, his constant companion. And yet for every small victory, there were setbacks. Complications arose, nights stretched into uncertainty, and hope sometimes felt fleeting. Then one evening, after a particularly brutal treatment, something extraordinary happened. Mark smiled. A faint, fragile, but genuine smile. For Kelly, it was a miracle. Slowly, blood tests improved. Tumors shrank. Doctors finally used the word that felt like sunlight breaking through a storm: remission. Kelly would later reflect on those months, realizing that love isn't tested in the easy days, but in storms. That marriage isn't about perfect photos or red carpets. It's about holding hands in hospital rooms. That courage isn't the absence of fear, but moving forward despite it. Facing the possibility of losing Mark forever gave her a new perspective. Ordinary moments became extraordinary. Every laugh and embrace a treasure. Their love endured, not because life was easy, but because they chose each other in the hardest of times. And that is the story of Kelly and Mark. A story of love, resilience, and the courage to fight together, no matter what.